We'll take it to like 9:28, 9:29.
Okay.
We'll start to land the proverbial airplane here, and then
Sounds good.
we'll give these great people. Good morning to you all. We'll give these great people the rest of their beautiful morning that they can take part and have fun with. 9:02 is the time. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. You are watching the second largest city's first daily news podcast. I'm here with a dear friend. He's back, Mr. Dan Jeremy Brooks of the Aurora Film Society. How you feeling?
Oh, very good. Very
All
good.
right,
Had a
all
lot
right.
of coffee, and I'm feeling very good. I'm starting to feel my feet again, so I'm good. No,
Okay.
I'm kidding.
All
No,
right.
I'm good.
About to say, how much coffee have you
Not that much. actually.
had? Have you lost feeling in your feet? 9:02 is the time. Daniel Calderon, good morning. So we're coming off of the City of Lights Film Festival,
Yes.
as we talked about before the microphones came on.
Yes.
But there are, you represent the Aurora Film Society.
Yes.
Which is an organization that some people may still be unfamiliar with. I know Driving Miss Daisy just opened up and concluded, right?
That's right, Riverfront Playhouse. Yes, they are
That's
showing
right.
that, which is beautiful. Well, actually, it's still going. I believe Darwin Miss Daisy is going until the not this weekend, but the next weekend. So that's
Okay.
cool. But yes, I am with the Aurora Film Society, and we're since 2018 we've been a nonprofit subscription-based organization. Which our idea is to basically try to bring communities together, particularly the immediate Fox Valley communities, and kind of broaden our collective horizons through film, which I think is kind of one of those unique art forms that. It has to be collaborative. First of all, you can't make a movie by yourself.
True.
Many have tried,
Right.
but it's also well, you need a few allies. You can't.
That's just a selfie then, right?
Yeah, I've seen a couple people do almost everything. And
Right.
there's some pretty good stuff, but still, And then basically the idea is $60 a year. We show a very carefully curated and selected group of films. Myself and the other members of the board, Aurora Film Society board, meet usually in the middle of the year, and so we have our slate all figured out. We're just about to figure out the order, and then we will put it on our website, which is aurorafilmsociety.org.
That's right.
But so we try to show these films that we feel are historically important or groundbreaking, or from far-flung cultures, kind of giving you a window into things you didn't know about, and basically trying to find overlooked films or films that are older that just don't get shown in a theater setting. A lot of the films we show are films where subscribers will say, I didn't even know this existed, let alone did I know to try to find it,
Right.
Which would also be a very difficult task.
Right.
So, I think that's kind of what we do. And I think it's a collaborative thing, like I said, not just in the making of films, but in watching. I think there's, for me, a wonderful sense of community that comes out of being in a theater with people. In fact, I was just saying this last Friday. I was fortunate enough to be on a panel in the evening, and one of the things I said was that there's this kind of unspoken, often unacknowledged bond between a group of people who are in a theater right when it darkens.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And even if you're with complete strangers, you could be a friend, stranger, whatever. But there's something very electric about that. You watching those films and especially watching films maybe on the opening night or the opening weekend,
Right.
or a one night only. There's the people there tend to, I think, laugh louder. they gasp when it's surprising, or they sigh when something great happens, and they tend to clap at the end.
Right.
And there's something really communally beautiful about that, and that's something that the Aurora Film Society is constantly trying to connect more and more people to. And as you say, I think most people in the area don't know about us because we've only been around a few years, but we'd like to remedy that.
Right. Well, it's an interesting perspective too, as well, when you talk about the darkening, the shared darkening in the theater when we're all watching that. There is a freedom to it as well, because there is a decorum and the constant knowledge of, hey, I shouldn't smack too loud, or I shouldn't be too my phone,
Yes.
make sure my phone is off. But if it is that opening night, and we have all watched the commercials go away, now the theater's getting darkened, we are all free to laugh a little more hearty when that moment comes,
Yes.
and definitely clap and wow at the end if it's a good film. Yeah, and that's a
Absolutely.
good shared communal feeling that only film really does that at that moment.
I'm glad you said that, because that is actually how I feel too. I mean, I love many different art forms. But there is something about watching films that I think we still have not found anything to really give us that same kind of feeling, that same kind of electricity. And like you said, part of it is being in the dark. But at the same time, there's also nice things about it too, because you simply, most people simply can't just, you can't open up your phone, because it's too bright. You can't pause it and go to the bathroom or whatever, which can be a bad thing and a good thing. But in a way, there's this communal experience, which I think really, especially in the time since COVID, we at the Aurora Film Society have realized is extremely important. I mean, we've always been movie fans, and we've always enjoyed watching films together. But now we're kind of watching and seeing, the COVID stuff made us realize that there was an important mental health element to it, to community. And so, that's why we enjoy continuing to watch these films as a group. I think it kind of provides an antidote to sort of the social stratification and what's the word? Siloing, I guess. That often happens, and it's something we all do. I mean, I love watching prestige television at home. I mean, TikTok has a lot of fun stuff. Instagram has a lot of fun stuff. But there is something about it that does, if we're not careful, separate us into discrete viewers in isolation from each other. And I worry that I don't worry, I should say that I think a film provides that antidote to what we accidentally often fall into.
It does. Because when that's that social media experience that you talk about. Yeah, sure, you can see a lot of creative things, even if they are, like, for example, if you're a Trekkie, or you're a Star Wars fan, sure.
Hey, there's a Star Wars shirt, man.
I saw that. I'm feeling that shirt, man.
Thank you.
The theme is Mean Streets.
It's Mean Streets, but it's Mos Eisley.
Yes, so it is. Yeah, the imagery. Yep.
I don't know if it's visible, but yeah.
If you're a Trekkie or you're a Star Wars fan, yeah, sure, your Instagram experience, your TikTok experience, there's stuff on there for you.
Oh, absolutely.
However, that is far and away a different experience than being in that line for an hour with other people with the Yoda helmet on.
For sure.
Meeting new people, changing photos. Hey, what's your name, Bill? Okay,
Oh yeah.
Whole different experience.
Yeah, I totally agree. And my gal Heidi and I even have a joke, because there's certain events we go to, and we always run into the same guy, a guy who's been a friend of mine off and on for since for over 30-some years. So I'll run into him. I don't know. We attended a drive-in event where they showed 4 horror movies back in 2020, and it was a drive-in event, so it was outdoors. So it was a way to kind of us to be communal while stand, separate,
right.
And I ran into my friend Matt, and I'm like, man, of course you're here. Yeah, naturally, you and I keep bumping into each other every few years at these things. So, and there is a lot of conversation with people in line. I definitely feel that. And waiting in line, I remember, when the Phantom Menace came out, I remember, going the Saturday morning when they first, had the tickets go on sale, and getting there early, after you're standing there for a while. After a while, you're sitting on the steps, kind of waiting.
Oh yeah.
But it's a good experience, and it's something I will always positively remember.
Yeah. As we've been sitting here talking about it, 9:10 is the time. The concert experience kind of does the same thing as well.
For sure.
The concert experience does the same thing. However, the concert experience, being loud, being boisterous, and screaming at the top of your lungs is baked into the cake of that experience. The other things that we've been talking about, the phone being silenced and all that kind of stuff, not getting up to use the restroom, those kind of decorum elements are only found in the theater and film experience.
Very true.
9:11 is the time. Viso Arts is here. Good morning to our friends of Viso Arts. How y'all doing? I know you guys see the shirt, right?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if the microphone's...
I love that shirt, man.
Thank you. I wear it for my film friends, and I figured, well, if I'm going on today, it's going to reach the most people.
You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Yep.
Absolutely.
One of my dad's favorite quotes. He'll say it all the time. Even when I was a little kid, he would say it.
Carla Santalan, good morning. Aisha Saxon, good morning. Rachel Cleghorn is here, good morning. And Jose Adrian Urquizo, good morning to you as well. The time is 9:11. So, as we, we're about to end the year here. Next month's December. This year passed by really quick.
Mm-hmm.
What are the initiatives, and what are some of the plans and the goals of the Aurora Film Society as we look forward to 2025?
Well, I think 2025 is going to be a big year, actually, because I'm glad you mentioned the concert experience, because we've been screening since 2018 at the Aurora Fire Museum, which is on Broadway.
Great place.
Great place, and obviously we're kind of sad to go because we've had we've made a lot of memories there.
Yeah.
But we are actually moving to the venue.
Okay.
Which is just 500 feet, 600 feet away.
Yeah,
So,
seriously.
we think the venue is just a little bit more our style, I
It is.
think.
It is.
Yep.
Yep.
It's and then as the venue shows more and more films, they were excited when we reached out to them earlier this year because they were like, yes, we would like to do more things. We do a lot of music-oriented things, but we would like to do more stuff in at this place and other Fox Valley locations that are film-oriented.
Right.
So we, as of January, we're going to start showing there every third Wednesday. So in the past,
Okay.
it's been every third Thursday, but we're moving to Wednesday. That would seem to be more conducive for most of us. And yeah, so it's going to be very exciting. But it's going to be a place where, like you said, it's normally a concert experience, but in this case, they have a great screen, and we seem to really enjoy, chatting with each other, the two groups.
Absolutely.
So it's been really good.
It'll be a better experience, and this is no shade to our friends, our dear friends of the Aurora Regional Fire Museum, but that's Broadway and New York Street. There's construction going on there all the time.
Yeah.
The inside of the fire museum, up in the top floor, is great. With its sloped. I mean, that's a nice place to be sitting watching a film at.
Yeah, it's very stadium seating, which is beautiful. Yeah.
But the venue, Mundy Park, that sort of almost band shell thing they got going on out there. Neighbor Project. We had our gala, one of the summer galas. It's a great place, perfect for you guys. I think it'll be really nice.
Well, thank you. We're really looking forward to it. And that was, of course, one of the venues for the City of Lights Film Festival, which just wrapped this weekend.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a good chance for me to get a good idea of how it was going to look.
What it could be.
Yes, and and I was very happy with the results.
Right? It's like putting on that suit at Men's Warehouse. Like, you know what? This is what it could be.
Yes, exactly. It's like, okay, do the hug, shoot the cuffs. Yeah,
right,
good.
exactly. Yeah, do a little ad lib.
Yes.
I thought I was out. Then they pulled me back in. Doug Stafford is here. Good morning to you. And April RX, April Doctor, good morning to you as well. The time is 9:14. You're listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. And we're here with our dear friend, Mr. Dan Jeremy Brooks of the Aurora Film Society. Check him out on Facebook and aurorafilmsociety.org. All right. So there was, and I recall this, I think of a few years ago, it was very popular in here in Aurora, but I think it was the Paramount School of the Arts started some improv or theater improvisation beginning lessons and classes. Now, the Film Society did somewhat of the same thing as well, wasn't that? Am I mistaken on that?
Well, not us so much as more the Riverfront Playhouse.
Okay,
but they are still doing it.
Right.
I'm very good friends with a lot of the folks at the Riverfront, so
I sometimes equate you to.
That's right. I often speak in terms of us because.
That's what I was
they're
thinking.
Just such an institution in Aurora.
Okay, all right.
which is why everybody needs to go to the Riverfront. I mean,
absolutely.
They're showing one more play this year, and then they're doing their pageant, and the pageant is like an Aurora institution.
Right.
Everybody's got to experience it at least once.
Yes.
So, anyway, but enough about that.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but yes, we haven't done a whole lot of the acting-oriented stuff, but we are again really trying to reach out. We're hoping to have a larger social media presence.
Okay.
And like I said, I think even just the location of the venue will be really good. I think a lot of people just have been to the venue or know the venue well. I mean, several of our board members have volunteered there and continue to. So it just seemed like a great fit.
What's your state of the creative scene, the production scene, and the film scene here in Aurora?
Well, it's interesting because as I was helping out with the City of Lights Film Festival, I got to see a lot of local stuff. And mostly the stuff I was seeing were music videos, but in the greater local area, if you will, if you would say Northern Illinois, there is actually a fair amount of stuff. There at the City of Lights Festival, we had a film called Midwest Goodbye, which was a perfect film for this area. It was directed by Noah Tomlinson, so kudos to him. He wrote and directed that. So that's, that was somebody, he's in Barrington right now.
Barrington, Illinois,
yeah,
shout out.
But he's moving to the city, Chicago. And for some reason, that does seem to be the tendency. I find that in Chicago, there tends to be more short films than features, although not always. I mean, I know, again, last Friday, Two Brothers, they showed All Happy Families, which was a Chicago-based and Chicago-written and directed film. Okay. And then there's a few others. There's Michael Glover Smith, who's did a feature about 2 years ago called Relative, which is also from the Chicago area. So you do see it. But yeah, I would love to see more of it happen. And hopefully we will see more. I mean, my friend Ramsey Miller is in the middle. He was here earlier this year.
He was. Shout out Ramsey.
Yes, Ramsey is in the process of shooting his second feature, I should say. So he's so that is happening right around here. So I mean, when you watch that film, you will see Aurora locations galore.
And that was the Mulligan Film Festival. For those interested in watching that episode, it was really good, conducted with young man, Mr. Ramsey Miller, and Dan. Great. That was an awesome day. Real quick, April RX says City of Lights Film Festival was great for my film student, Abraham Ortiz. It was close to home, and he loved the films shown and appreciated the artwork of creativity. Thank you for sharing that with us, April. See, that's what I'm talking
wonderful.
about.
Yeah.
We just asked the question, and then that's the kind of the local example. Abraham Ortiz, we wish him the best. Michael Ely is here, and Corey Ingram is here. Thank you for bringing Cole Bennett out to the event as well. He is definitely music influenced, but he is also hoping to move into films. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, Bennett's an interesting guy in the sense that he's, I think of him, from what I understand, he's equally a music producer as he is a director, which is an interesting thing I think that's happening. That's a phenomenon that's happening more and more.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was here Saturday night to present the award for, and he did a Q&A as well, I should say, for Best Music Video, which is something we just started this year with the film festival. The film festival is actually only 2 years old, but this is new to this year. And I was really glad that it went to the video that I actually liked the most, which is a video by this guy Hovind, and he's local. So so that was pretty neat.
Good. That's awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Pam Cleary is here. Good morning to you, Pam. Time is 9:19 a.m. This is something that you and I talked about when we had the conversation in what is now the Paramount Stoke Island Theater.
Yes, that's right.
So I'm gonna bring it back because 2 years has gone by since.
Sure.
And you just mentioned that those short films, as opposed to the features, are a little bit more popular. What has, and this opinion-based question, what has the ease, the quickness, the rapidity, the looking for the give us this much in 90 seconds kind of life and style, what has that done to filmmaking or movie production in its more traditional aspects, in your opinion? What has that done? What has that created?
Well, I think it has done quite a bit. I mean, I think for instance, in the early '80s when MTV came into being, there was a definite direct influence on filmmakers, not just American, but I mean there was quite a few French filmmakers, what they called cinéma look, so you'd have people like Jean-Jacques Benet or Leo Carax, Carax, I believe is how you put it. I'm not sure. I only took one semester of French, so apologies to everyone for that. But I mean, and that was true also of people like Michael Mann and other directors, and I think I'm seeing a similar ripple now. I think a movie, for instance, like Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is very much purposeful in its use, in its disorientation, in the way that it's switching between these various timelines, and the editing is incredibly frenetic. But it's also a film with a lot of heart. It's a story basically about a family and about feeling acceptance or lack thereof. So, but it definitely adapted the style to fit, or I should say the content and the style were of accord with each other, I thought. And I do think that's going to happen more and more. I definitely found that most of the music videos that I looked at for the City of Lights Festival were pretty short. I mean, they usually ran about 2 minutes, sometimes less. So that was interesting. Now, that said, I'm actually not opposed to that. I tend to think, leave them wanting a little more, you know. So that actually I thought was kind of neat. But I did notice that was a trend. Now, that could be related to the fact that people want to put content online, and typically, depending on the platform, they only allow up to 90 seconds or
Right.
up to 2 minutes. So that would be a savvy thing, if that would make sense.
Right.
On the other hand, YouTube has extended in the last few years. You can put large amounts of content on there, you know, and hours of stuff. I mean,
Right.
so some of my favorite online criticism has gotten much bigger and much more in depth, which I love. You know,
All right.
so
Good
yeah,
to know.
but I think it's going to have a huge advantage, and I think I'm trying to think of really when. I guess social media really exploded in 2008, 2009, but particularly stuff like TikTok, it's only been a few years, so I think we should expect a lot pretty soon, like a tsunami of that kind of stuff. And it's all a matter of finding filmmakers who will be able to forge that style into a way that suits their vision and their life experiences, hopefully. Yeah.
Is there a film that hasn't been made yet that you'd like to see? Josue Pais, good morning.
Oh, I love Josue. Hey, Josue, how you doing?
That's right. That's right. What's happening? See, it's a family show. It's a family show.
Yes. I think first ever art bar I ever went to, I met Josue because I was admiring his work.
Absolutely.
He's a wonderful artist.
He's an absolutely fantastic artist. Tracy Duran, good morning.
I would say for me, I like films that are more... I like films that are reality based. I understand, of course, that films have to take a lot of liberties with a biopic or a film about actual events, but I often find that the stories themselves are so interesting you wouldn't really need to change almost anything. A lot of times they'll composite characters together, which sometimes you have to do for time. But if I'm looking at it like wish list, if I had all the money I needed in the world, or I could commission a filmmaker and I could give him all the money in the world. I would want something more like that, something where we would see the way causality works amongst dozens and dozens of people. One of my favorite movies is City of Hope by John Sayles, in which there's like maybe 30 or 40 characters that all at one point interact with each other in this city. And it's all about everything from municipal corruption to violence, to displacement, you know,
Right.
that kind of thing, blight. And I think I have a hunger for more of that. I think I would like to see that. It would be interesting to see a film where we see an event and we get a clear idea of not just, I guess in some ways The Wire gets close, the show The Wire.
Right.
They were able to do that, but I would like to see an epic or something like that, or maybe a multi-part film that would give us an idea about something like the creation of the New Deal.
Right.
I think, or by that same token, something like the crash, the depression. How did this happen? What events led to it? What moments of chance were involved? You know,
that would be a very interesting film, because right now to see something like that, one would have to watch like a documentary. You know, documentaries kind of tell that in its 10-part kind of thing.
Sure.
You know, National Geographic, and that's cool, but I feel you. I would love to see that in the film experience. Like, two things come to mind. One, The Notebook.
Oh, sure.
Which was a great movie.
Sure.
And Forrest Gump.
Sure.
As you were, I was thinking about Forrest
Where it
Gump.
spans a long
It
period.
spanned a lot of time and a lot of different episodes in American history. And then you, the viewer, are still there in 1998, whenever it was made. When was that?
94?
94? Okay, yeah,
remember.
yeah.
One of those two.
And you know, you're left with the present time, and
Right.
and it's like amazing. You've gone all around the world, and now you're back on the bus stop with Forrest Gump, and
Right, he's
it
put
was
his
a
kid on the bus.
Yeah, and it was amazing. So I'd like to see that too
Yeah.
for some of these topics too. The New Deal, that was FDR's administration, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
the New Deal is a fantastic piece of history in itself, which, like you said, one would not have to change almost anything about that to
Really,
tell a
yeah.
compelling story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Benjamin Buttons is kind of like that.
Yes,
That
yes,
is
that's a wonderful
good
epic.
movie.
That is an excellent film.
Araya Swan, good morning to you. That's a good movie. Hey, this will be fun. 9:26 is the time. With the last little bit of time that we have here with our friend Dan Jeremy Brooks. If you can hear the sound of my voice, put your favorite movie in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Put your favorite movie in the chat. We'll shout you out until the show ends this morning. Let me start with you.
Sure.
Favorite film?
Oh, gosh.
Or one that comes to mind that you like a whole lot that you'd like to share?
Well, I mentioned City of Hope, which came out in 1991. I'm a very big fan of the Coen brothers, and I'd probably say they're one of the 2 or 3 favorite filmmakers living. I really like Miller's Crossing.
Oh, that's a good movie.
I'm so glad you've seen it, because a lot of people are like, oh, I haven't seen that one. They've
So
seen Coen's, but not that.
obscure.
It is,
so obscure.
but
That's
life-changing for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it hit me at just the right age, and the camera work, the incredibly dense plotting, the slang,
The lingo.
all of it is just beautiful. I love that film. I'm a big fan of Akira Kurosawa.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen The Seven Samurai, speaking of a film that's epic but has dozens of characters and you have time to kind of meet all of them to an extent, that's a great one. So those are kind of my favorites. Those are, I think myself and my gal Heidi watched Seven Samurai during COVID, and she had never seen it, but she had known about it, of course. And it was such a great experience to spend those 3.5 to 4 hours with all these characters. Granted, we did. I'm a bit of a hypocrite because I did get up and pause it and use the bathroom or get food once in a while. So I don't want you guys to think I'm some sort of machine who impervious to the needs of humankind. But honestly, I will say this. I do think, like I said, COVID has done a lot to teach us about the value of art in film. I mean, I think about, how many of us, particularly in the opening couple months, like from March 2020 through the summer, we, in those moments of fear, in those moments of uncertainty, we fell back on art. We would binge watch TV shows, or we would watch movies. We would decide, hey, I've always wanted to take up drawing. I've never done that before. Or you would listen to music, or you would want to read, Marcel Proust's all 7 volumes of Remembrance of Things Past. If that was your jam and you wanted to, you had a moment to do it, but we leaned on art. I joke, and my apologies to anyone who is like, no, this did happen to me. But I do joke that I don't know anyone who said when COVID happened, oh, great, this will give me the chance to finally learn how to become a CPA.
Right, yeah.
Right. People were like, no, I want to learn how to play guitar. I've always wanted to do that, and I never had time. And I do want to say also, depending on how you feel about occurrences on the national stage in the last couple of weeks, if you feel fear or anything, if you feel shock, whatever, the community of film goers is perfect for that. And I just wanted to plug that. I think, and please do join us. Right. I know there's a lot of us out there, and it's just a matter of the people haven't heard of it.
Absolutely.
So I think this can be a real balm for people in times of, well, of any times, really. Personal uncertainty too, of course. So anxiety,
apprehension.
Sure. Absolutely.
Timidity.
Yes.
All of those things are perfect chances to create. Create.
Exactly.
Create. Express yourself.
Yes. I agree, and that's what I love about the collaborative elements in these pieces of art.
Yeah. This show was conceived during the worst time in my life.
Really?
Yeah. This show, when we started this show, when COVID happened.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was unemployed.
Oh, sure.
My son was 7.
Oh, wow.
Let's check off the bad things that were going on.
Sure.
I was unemployed. My son was 7. All of the horrible things, we were all there together. You guys remember? Like all of the other stuff was going on. The school districts were shutting down. Everything was happening. Lost the job and business I had and was on unemployment.
I understand. Yeah.
Perfect time to, right?
Right. Oh, I had a similar
time to start doing something.
I had a similar kind of, I don't know what you might call, come to Jesus or road to Damascus moment or whatever you want to say. I had a business for about 13, 14 years, and when it ended, it was devastating. It was really devastating, and it took me a while to kind of do what I would call my retrenching time, where I started to kind of you know. But you know what? Out of this came your show. So, I
Absolutely.
mean, do you think, I mean, I don't want to say COVID was a good thing. Of course, many people died. I mean, my father-in-law died of COVID. It was very sad. But there were good things, too, in the sense that this show, for instance, did you conceive it during the lockdown, essentially?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. Actually, in fact, the day that I'll have to look at the precise moment and everything, but the day that East Aurora School District closed, they put out an announcement that said basically like it's over. You know, like no
Yes.
human is coming back to any building.
Right. Yes.
That day, our business closed.
Oh,
That was the day we're like, well, if parents aren't sending their kids to school, they're not going to come get locked in an escape room for an hour.
wow.
Because that's what I was doing at the time.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
And that was it. And so like
Wow.
that next morning is when I started looking at the notebook I had. Like, yeah, maybe it could work.
You know, there is something beautiful about that.
Yeah, absolutely. But to the fear point, and we'll wrap this up. The thing too that you know, just in my own personal experience, to piggyback off what you said for the listener and the viewer, like, you know, when my dad passed away, and I came back to doing this show after being off for a week,
Oh, sure.
that was the first time I ever did pat myself on the back, because if it wasn't for the ability to be here and to openly cry and express what I had to get out, I dread to think what I, as a human being,
Exactly.
just being locked up in my house, I dread to think what that Curtis would have had to stew in every single day.
Right.
So, and that was the only time I actually did tell myself, like, man, I'm glad I did this, because it was the best thing that happened to me.
Well, you should tell yourself more often, because it's a great show. You know,
Yeah.
and this is my fourth time on, and I always enjoy it. I keep telling you, man, we need to do it so I can come on like every week. You know, at the same time every week. No,
Well, we've got some.
I'm joking a little bit.
Well, before the mics came on, we were talking. I told you, everything I've been trying has been working pretty good.
Yes.
I still got a notebook full of ideas, man. They
Yes,
coming
you were
soon.
saying.
They coming.
Yes.
They're coming.
It's exciting.
So
yeah, we'll think about it. You know?
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for telling me about that, about what you said about your father. I appreciate it.
Nope. Absolutely, man.
And I'm glad you had this scaffolding of support. You had,
Absolutely.
you know, this network of people that you could rely on, and like you said, have that time to mourn.
Yep.
You know, which, I mean, obviously mourning is a long process, but that initial mourning, I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, and other people have been able to share as well and to join me. So, Tracy Duran said her favorite movies are The Untouchables and Labyrinth.
Ooh, good
And
movies.
April says dad mode / mom mode brings the best out of us all. That's a true statement.
That's very nice.
It does. All right, 9:34 is the
Very
time.
nice.
I want to say thank you guys very much for watching today's program, and I want to say thank you very much to our friend Dan Jeremy Brooks for coming back onto the show. Remember, the Aurora Film Society is on Facebook, and you can also find them at aurorafilmsociety.org. We gave you a small preview of what's to come for January 2025, but please be on the lookout for everything produced by the Riverfront Playhouse and our friends, the Aurora Film Society, and also our dear friends of The Venue in Mundy Park. Right now, Good Morning Aurora is going to wrap it up, and we will return tomorrow with more news, more weather, and the very best of Aurora. Take care of yourself and each other.
And I never saw you coming. When I'm with you, it feels like summertime. The sunshine I'm waiting for, I find it in your eyes. When we're apart, darling, I lose my mind. Counting
Being a local business in Chicago, we've always worked with community banks, but over time, those smaller banks started getting acquired by larger national footprint banks. It became time to work with Wintrust to meet our needs without having to have that big bank feel.
Wintrust understood what they wanted to accomplish, and they've increased in size 5 times over.
As we continue to grow, we're going to keep needing to borrow, so I'm sure they're going to love that.
Serving their needs. It's really the foundation of what Wintrust commercial banking is all about.